What's going on, everyone? So, I, like the last time, I was rewatching a lot of older Cartoon Network bumpers, because again, I really am trying to get back in the swing of things for you guys, because I know you guys love this stuff, so. But anyway, I was rewatching a lot of older Cartoon Network bumpers, and the small something, like, you guys have seen my Cartoon Network rants, you guys know of the big, gaping problems or the big gaping things that Cartoon Network used to have that they don't anymore. Well, there are a couple more small things that they used to have that really you might not, think of it, or you might not see it. If you really delve into these small things, they might be bigger than you think at first. So, I decided to dedicate a video to one of these small things. And it's something that I personally think is much bigger than people give it credit for, because a lot of people don't even really remember it. It's the hidden, as I like to call them the hidden voices of Cartoon Network. And I call them the hidden voices because they were the voices at the end of every episode that would air on the Cartoon Network, whether it was, anything like Duck Dodgers or Justice League or Courage the Cowardly Dog, during the end credits, while the music and everything was playing, they could be totally taking the time to advertise, some new thing that's coming out or something. But no, what's really cool is they lower the music, they lower whatever's going on in the background, and they come in with people who, in all honesty, once you hear them, if you grew up in this with the CN City arc like I did, you'll listen to them and be like, oh wow, hey, they're the voices of my childhood. That's why they're bigger. I like to say that they're bigger than a lot of people give them credit for, because the minute you hear them, you're like, oh, I remember them. They were, Anyways, so they're the voices that come on. They lower the music and they just decide to chime in with a not a, hey guys, this Saturday on Cartoon Network there's Teen Titans movie. No, they decide to come in, and it's just. So yesterday I was walking down the street and I saw Courage the Cowardly Dog tied to a lamppost, and I was curious what he was doing there, and blah 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 blah. These mean so much more than they seem like they do, because who's the target audience for Cartoon Network? It's little kids, right? Little kids are able to take these small things and make them seem so much bigger than they really are. So when they take the time to do this little segment that you think means nothing, right? Like it's just them, trying to, tell you what's coming up next, or actually, to be honest with you, I re-listen to some of these. Sometimes, like, I listened to one of them, she goes, so I was, going down to the store to pick up some stuff from my apartment, and I saw Duck Dodgers. Anyways, Dot Hack is coming on next, and I'm like, oh, that had nothing to do with Duck Dodgers. But anyway, if you're a little kid and you listen to these things, they mean a lot because you're in on the joke. As a little kid, you're not used to being, in on things. There's so many secrets, Growing up, there's so many secrets. There's not much that you know. But when you're listening to these people who come in and talk and just start bringing up a situation, and they come in and they say, so I saw Duck Dodgers at the store, or so I saw Courage, he tied to this lamppost, or, something like that. As a little kid, something triggers inside of your mind, and you're now in on the joke. You're able to listen to this, as a grown-up, I listen to these now, and I'm like, oh, Courage, I know he's a part of Cartoon Network, or blah, blah, blah. But as a kid, you listen to this and you say, oh, Courage, I know who that is. Or, oh, Duck Dodgers, I know who that is. Is he coming on next? Because when I was growing up, we didn't have, I had Cartoon Network, but we didn't have TV Guide. TV Guide, that was it didn't come with every cable box back then. Like the richer families had the TV guide button to show you what was coming on next. But when I was in like a hotel, or when I was even growing up here in my house with Cartoon Network, when City was ending, we didn't have TV guide on our remote. It didn't come until we didn't finally end up getting TV guide, like the button, when Comcast bought over Time Warner. That's finally when they gave us new boxes, and they all came with a TV guide button. But anyway, back then, we didn't have a TV guide button, so I never knew what was coming up next. But even if I didn't know what was coming up next, me as a kid watching this, or listening to this, oh, I know who that is. I am finally in on something. Finally, a grown adult sounding person is talking about something that I can also relate to, and that I also know what they're talking about. It honestly means so much more than what it honestly really is. It's really small. It's at the end. They kind of shove it in the back of the credits. That's why I like to call them, all of the people who did it, because there was a girl named Nikki, from what I understand. There was also a guy, and I think there was a few other girls too. But the fact that instead of choosing to take that time to, how they used to do, roll, like, half-size the credit screen by, like, squeezing it up, and then in the bottom half, then have, like, a commercial for something, instead of choosing to advertise something else, they just chose to have this short little story that they would always make up. And they did this for, like, 2-3 years, I think. I don't remember entirely when they started doing this. I remember it specifically being in the CN City era, but I don't entirely recall if it was any time before the CN City era. So I do know that it was done between 2004 and 2006. Whether it was done before that, I don't entirely remember. So if anyone does know if they did have those credit voices, comment down below and let me know. But just the fact that they would choose to use them and use these stories, and honestly, it really helped, circulate the network. It really helped add an extra knot to this string. Because see, there's this, what a lot of people don't see, especially not anymore, considering Cartoon Network is less than a shell of its former self, but there is an invisible string between the audience and the network. And there's tons of knots in between, tons of little tiny things that help, grip a viewer or help something. But just the fact that they would take the time to do this added one more little knot between the network and the viewer, because it really did make the viewer, us kids, kind of feel, I don't really want to say at home, because that doesn't really make sense. But if you guys can kind of understand what I'm saying, it really helped make it feel like we were, in on it, that we were, just a part of it, that we were a part of Cartoon Network, that we helped make Cartoon Network. We really felt that we helped mold this thing. And just this tiny thing that they would include at the end of these credits was far bigger, impacting, I think, than anyone gives it credit for. Because really, kids, they take a lot more than people give them credit for. They really do understand a lot. And, despite being a small thing, this really, really was a thing that helped add an extra knot from the viewers, especially because most of the time, especially during the CN City, because I talked about this last time. I talked about the sayings Cartoon Network would say at the end, how they used to say the best place for cartoons, and then they eventually transitioned over to "This is Cartoon Network." This is a part of the same thing. It's all helping, add extra knots to this tiny thin line, and build a stronger connection with the viewer and to the studio. And when they would finish saying, talking about courage, oh, I saw Courage, tidying a lamppost, or I saw, Duck Dodgers in the store. They would always say, anyways, Courage the Cowardly Dog is coming up next. This is Cartoon Network. It really made you, because that kind of was the deal sealer. That was, because first it was, so I saw Courage. You as a kid is like, oh, Courage? Oh, I know who that is. What was Courage doing? I love Courage. What was he up to? And then they're like, oh, well, Courage is coming up next. And then they seal the deal with, this is Cartoon Network. You know what you're watching. You know what you're getting. And if you want more Courage, if you want more of this, you know where to come back for more. I know it really seems small, which honestly it is. But it really is something, I guess, more emotionally bigger. I guess more of a connector. But anyways, I didn't want this one to be too long, like the others. The others are really, really long, especially since this one's so covering of something so small and insignificant, I suppose. But anyways, what do you guys feel about these? Honestly, in my opinion, they are one of the things that really made the network back in the day, because if Cartoon Network just changed their variety now, it would help immensely. That would cause a majority of that would fix a majority of the problems. But if they brought these back as well, it would also help make things feel more grounded, more at home. I say at home, but you know what I mean. But it makes them feel more comfortable. That's the word I'm looking for. But anyways, sound off down below what you guys think of these pretty cool little bumpers that they used to have at the end of in the end credits, and these hidden voices of Cartoon Network. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.